Well, look, this is turning out to be a dystopian Keir Starmer Labour government, worse than any of us could have ever feared. Let's get something clear about the term far right. According to Keir Starmer and his Labour government, anyone to the right of Karl Marx and Lenin are considered far right. I mean, if thinking that we should have secure borders, if believing that violent criminals should be in jail, if believing that we should have a coherent immigration policy, if believing that we should be prioritising, the government of the United Kingdom should put citizens of the United Kingdom ahead of citizens of foreign countries. If these are now to be considered far right, then God help us all. The reality is what we're seeing in Europe is a large number of people in the European populace waking up to the fact that totally uncontrolled mass migration, catastrophic population explosion and being incapable to build infrastructure to deal with it, seeing cultures like German culture, like French culture, essentially dissipate at the hands of such enormous numbers of people coming into these countries. That is why these countries' populations are saying we've had enough and are voting not for the sort of leftist governments that we have seen.
Scarlet?
So I wasn't even planning on making a video today until this gem came across my feed, but Zia Yusuf, who I've never even heard speak until today, absolutely scorching this Labour advisor. So, here we go.
Let's begin. Keir Starmer believes that violent criminals should be in jail. That's what he did after the riots. So let's kill that one. He is
only after announcing he would release tens of thousands of criminals from prison.
So a quick fact check actually has that number at around 20,000, which means Armand here is actually right about that. So funny that she said that, and then it turns out Big Keir has been letting out tens of thousands of people. Wild, and some of these people, I've just been having a look there, some of these people are actually violent criminals, and some of them are laughing and they're happy, and they're saying, big up Keir Starmer. I'll flash up quickly one of the ones I've just found there. It's nuts.
We're not violent, right? The people who are being released early are not violent.
That is total horseshite. They've released 20,000 criminals and she thinks none of them are violent. There's loads of proof online. You just need to do a quick Google search. There's stories everywhere. There's even one where there's 37 criminals been accidentally released under the act that he's put through. She's full of shit here. So let's continue and listen to some more shite that she says.
And
hold on then.
I'll give you one example.
Yeah.
There was a man who murdered somebody with a machete whose sentence was cut short and released. That was just one example, and there are many, many more such examples.
You're talking about, so I was just about to pipe in with this example. There was a young lad called Gordon Galt. He was attacked. He was 14. He was attacked with machetes. He was very sadly killed. Well, one of those kids that was involved in that killing, he is going to be released early. The mother of Gordon, the teenager that was killed, she's spoken out about this. She's deeply distraught by the fact that he's going to be released early because of overcrowding. So that's just one example.
right.
Man, I actually feel kind of bad for her. She's obviously come in unprepared, thinking that she was going to walk over this whole debate, and she's really failed terribly badly. Yeah, the fact that she's trying to defend this is just crazy.
And your point saying that Keir Starmer has been incredibly firm in wanting to put violent criminals in jail with regards to the quote-unquote far-right riots. And by the way, let me just be really clear. I and the Reform Party absolutely condemn violence in all of its forms.
Right,
and those are abhorrent. But let me be clear.
Hold on,
in that
and you want
instance,
those
let me finish my
people
point. Let me finish my point with respect. In that instance, for those particular people, Keir Starmer and this government and indeed appears to be the judicial system, are perfectly happy to throw the book at them, performative, BBC live-streamed trials. For people from other groups, totally the opposite. The police essentially fled the scene in Hare Hills, leaving the populace to fend for themselves. A police car was flipped, a bus was torched, other cars were torched. It was a godsend and very fortunate that there weren't serious injuries or murders in that situation. You see the way that the police have policed, for example, the Notting Hill Carnival. I mean, the reports of over 50 police officers were attacked during that festival. The reports coming back from the police read more like something out of a report from a war zone than they read a festival. So there's a totally different way that our police and that the government and indeed now our judicial system are approaching these different people. And that's the fundamental point that I'm making.
Yeah, Mr. Yusuf here is actually on point. Keir Starmer kind of showed his hand a little bit when he was complaining about people jumping on the bandwagon of far-right extremists when they wanted an inquest into rape gangs. That was kind of the first time I noticed he really misplayed his hand, saying that, accusing people of being far-right when they clearly were not. That's going to be a major problem for the Labour Party going forward, because they tend to use that excuse quite a bit, but this time they kind of overstepped the mark and everybody saw it in plain as day. It's going to be good for Nigel Farage and the Reform Party, because they can kind of say how they've been like painted out as a villain, and it looks awful for the Labour Party. The way that Keir Starmer's acted in the last number of months here has been embarrassing, actually. It sucks having a leader that is just so weak, and it was obviously a shell for the WEF, which is, he's heading straight for globalism and he wants to align himself with the EU, who are in decline at the minute. So what do we do? What do we do? We just need to start embracing Trump, but they don't want to do that because they think he's an awful thing. And if they start looking up to Trump, then it's going to put Nigel in an even better position. So Keir Starmer currently is in between a rock and a really hard place. So
saying is that everybody's getting it.
I'm going to come.
Right? Can I
what
quickly...
What about the fella that chucked that stuff at Nigel Farage?
He's got a suspended sentence.
He got a suspended sentence for throwing a cup of cement at one of our political leaders during a general election campaign. And I will tell you, someone who works with Nigel every single day, there is no braver politician in this country. And anyone less brave, I can tell you, would have withdrawn themselves a long time ago from the political landscape in this country. It's actually quite terrifying how the judicial system, this actually isn't policing, this is actually the judicial system, which in some ways is even more of a concern because it's obviously independent. The judicial system has essentially said that our political leaders are no longer off limits. And that, I think, is a terrifying thing, given the violence that has been inflicted on political leaders in this country in recent times.
It's always been like that. I mean, the person who threw an egg at John Prescott did not get jailed, right? I mean, nobody...
No, hang on. Right. Sorry, I feel like I'm cutting in all the time and I don't want to. We're in a political time where apparently this new government is desperate. They are falling over themselves to tell a lesson to people, teach a lesson to people that you can't go around behaving like this. So you've got this fast-track, supercharged, very quick route into prison for people that are doing wrong when it suits the government. This is a political climate where apparently you want to dissuade people from doing wrong. So if you're going to attack a politician, that is, in my book, a definition of doing something wrong. So whilst we're in this current kind of moment, it's very different to how it was all those years ago when John Prescott punched that fella with the egg.
Yeah. But
so it's different then, isn't it?
What I'm saying is, of course I condemn and I didn't know it was cement. I thought somebody threw a milkshake at him.
No, well, that was a separate situation.
I mean, of course, and I've been here and I've condemned it.
So you don't think that person should have gone to jail? You don't think he should serve time in jail?
I don't know. I mean, that's the judiciary. I mean, it's the judiciary.
Well, I'm asking you your opinion.
I actually try not to have opinions on things that I don't know a lot about. I don't.
Well, somebody. I mean, it's a pretty straightforward case.
No. This is. You're telling me what happened. I would rather.
So you didn't see it.
I didn't see it.
Okay.
I didn't see it. I saw the milkshake, and the next morning I was on here and I said that it's absolutely wrong because actually I said Nigel Farage had no idea what was in that milkshake, and people might think it's funny, but it's not.
Most people will know what we're talking about, that coffee cup. That was the one on the open-top bus where the fella went into that kind of concealed area. It was like fenced off or whatever, and he picked that stuff out the bin. He lobbed it at Farage on that bus. That's what we're talking about. Anyway, I've gone off topic. Keir Starmer, my point is, Keir Starmer keeps rabbiting on about the so-called far right, but no one even seems to be able to define what it is. And even just in your definition, we've gone from, you defined the far right as people that rioted. Then you said, OK, it's not the kids, it's the leaders. Then when I've put to you, well, the Hare Hills riots is far right, then you say, no, they're not far right. Then when you say, you mean the far right people are the ones that are targeting the mosque, and then he points out that it was actually some random fella in Pakistan that spread all those rumours, then you don't think he's far right.
Who didn't target the mosque? I mean, I'm
Scarlet, hang on, it's going to have to have very long arms if he's sitting in Pakistan, isn't it? To be able to target a mosque in the UK.
What I'm saying is I think that people who go to a mosque to try and set it on fire, which is what happened, right? I mean,
it's disgraceful. It's criminal behaviour. I mean,
that is clear. Right? There's no one at this table who doesn't think that is an abhorrent thing to do, and that those people should go to jail. There's no doubt about that.
Right.
But do you not think people who commit murder with machetes should also go to jail and not be released early?
Of course,
at a time when we seem to have people running around wielding machetes in this country almost every week.
Of course, I do.
Do you think the Reform Party are far right?
No, I don't think they're far right. Actually, I don't think the Reform Party are far right, but I don't agree with them.
Yeah, that's a hard day at work for that poor woman. She'll be glad to get home after that one. Our man Zia Yusuf handled himself very well. I'm quite looking forward to watching some more of his kind of debates with people. If anybody's got any suggestions or has got any other kind of debates he's been in that it's worth taking a look at, please let me know. I'll be interested to kind of have a reaction to that as well. But otherwise, thanks very much for watching. The channel is going. We've got a couple of subscribers now. We're trying to improve things here. Got the green screen on now. So, like and subscribe. I've got some stuff coming up hopefully soon. We got kind of longer form stuff. Hoping, this will be about 10 minutes and other stuff will probably be about 10, 12 minutes. So yeah, thanks very much for subscribing. I'll see you next time. Thanks.